So we are less than 1 month away from our OHDSI 2022 Symposium. We're looking forward to having lots of folks come together October 14th through 16th in Bethesda, Maryland. It'll be our first US-based symposium in person in a few years, and I know people are quite eager to get together. What I'm going to do is just walk through the agenda and the topics. I know we have several of the work group leads also on the call, so I'll ask them to also share what they've got in store for their work group activities on the weekend. But actually, before I do that, I'll just, Craig's been bringing up this link every single week, but I'll just reinforce it. If you haven't yet registered and you're thinking about maybe wanting to come join us, if you go out to ohdsi.org, on the main page, there is this link to the OHDSI 2022 OHDSI Symposium. And this link, ohdsi.org/OHDSI 2022 Symposium, that's where all the details about the symposium are that I'm going to go through. It includes the weekend agenda that I'm going to walk through right now, as well as the registration links. Note that there are 3 main activities that are going on at the symposium. There's our main conference, which is taking place on Friday, October 14th. And so you can register for that if you plan to come join our session. This is where we're going to have our plenary talks, our Collaborator Showcase, and lots of fun in store, and I'll go through all the details there. On Saturday, October 15th, there is a full day tutorial, and we're almost actually full on registration for this. But if anybody is eager to get a full day landscape view of all the things that are going on, I'll talk a little bit about our plan for the tutorial, which is shaping up really nicely. So encourage folks to sign up for the tutorial if they're interested. And then throughout the weekend, October 15th and 16th, there's a series of work group activities that are taking place, and we'll go through all of those work group activities and have the work group leads share what their plans are and promote folks to sign up. Here, you also there's a registration for this. The main thing is for us to know how many people to put in which rooms. We've got a collection of rooms that are all set up to host these events, but we've got to be able to manage them and manage the capacity appropriately. So if you're coming to do the full Monty of everything that's going on at the symposium, you should be registering for 3 things. You should be registering for the main conference. You should be registering for the tutorial, and then you should be registering for the work group activities that you want to participate in. And if anybody, there are optional registration fees associated with the main conference and the tutorial. But if anybody would like to have that registration fee waived, they can just send an email to symposium@ohdsi.org and we'll take care of you. Okay, so this is where you want to go to sign up, OHDSI 2022 Symposium. What we're going to do now is actually just go through the agenda. On our main conference, October 14th, we've got a really fun day planned. And I'll make this as big as I can so it comes up on your screen. So our main time of activities will start promptly at 9 a.m. and it's actually going to run through our network reception to 7 p.m. And we've got a good collection of activities that are on the docket for this. For those that are traveling in, there will be registration and light breakfast to start off, as well as folks will have the opportunity, those of you who are participating in the Collaborator Showcase and have posters, you'll be able to hang those up in the morning prior to the session starts. George will kick us off with our State of Community. This is just George as the starting point of this, but I think we're going to use this session as an opportunity to have multiple folks represented and celebrate the great work that's going on in the community. One of the things we're particularly looking forward to doing is handing out the 2020 and 2021 OHDSI Titan Awards. We have got worthy recipients who only got to get a virtual round of applause over the last 2 years, and it'll be nice to actually pass out trophies and celebrate the leaders in our community there. And so that will be in the main ballroom. We'll all sit down to listen and celebrate as a group there. From there, we're going to very deliberately break up and make sure that we're taking advantage of this unique opportunity to be in person. And to do that, we're going to have work group connections, whereby work group leads are going to be organized all throughout the space. And it's going to be an opportunity for all of you to network with each other. So if you are looking to catch up with some friends in a work group that you haven't been able to see in person in a while, or maybe even at all, you'll be able to actually go join the work group and just chat and network and connect. For those that are coming maybe to the OHDSI Symposium for the first time, or maybe are not as familiar with work groups that are going on, you'll have the opportunity to walk around and check out the work group activities, go meet the work group leads, learn about what's going on, and identify which groups you'd like to participate and be a part of. And so for this time, it's going to be open formulated networking to try to facilitate people making connections and networking in alignment with our work groups. We'll also be hosting an OHDSI Meet the Mentors activity for being led by Faiza Arshad and Ross Williams as part of our early stage researcher group. So there should be details for those that are signed up as part of the early stage researcher work group. You can be on notice if you're interested in participating in meeting some of the veterans in the community for directed one-on-one networking opportunity. And this was actually something that Ross developed and held at the OHDSI Europe meeting earlier this year, and it really worked great as an opportunity to make connections. And I personally quite enjoyed meeting folks in the community that I might not have had the opportunity otherwise. So I think it'll be a great opportunity for folks to make meaningful connections. After we've done our work group activities, we'll reconvene centrally for the first of our two plenary activities. The first is going to be a session that's going to be led by Martijn Schumi. The title of this is Objective Diagnostics, a Pathway to Provably Reliable Evidence. And this is work that Martijn has been leading that some of you have seen because it's been discussed on specific work group activities. I guess the most recent one was one of the population level estimation work group activities. But this is work that Martijn and Mark Suchard and George and Yang Chen have been actively working on to think about how we formalize a process for pre-specifying criteria that we can actually apply in our studies to be able to prove that the evidence that we generate is actually reliable. And we've got some really exciting findings to be able to talk through and share, as well as hopefully opening up a conversation about how we actually start to embed this best practice in the work that we're doing. So really excited for Martijn to lead this session and share some of the work that's been going on within our community. From there, we'll take a break and actually have a buffet lunch that will be served. The buffet lunch also will provide an opportunity for those that want to actually engage with our exhibitors. This is the first year that we've actually had exhibitors, and potentially unlike other conferences you've been to, where exhibitors are just kind of like random folks there that are like hawking their wares. Here we actually have organizations within our community who are supporting the community, who are looking for the opportunity to connect with others in the community, either folks that they are supporting or folks that they could be supporting in the future. So I hope that you all take advantage of the opportunity to connect with organizations within our community that are developing products and services that are being offered, that are available to kind of advance OHDSI's mission. And I want to thank the exhibitors who have already signed up, and really just excited to see what they are offering. After lunch, we will reconvene and have a series of presentations on the topic of OHDSI support for regulatory authorities. I'm really excited about this session. Jody McLagan will moderate this session, but we'll have 3 sessions highlighting the work that our community is doing to support regulatory authorities around the world. First, representing work that's ongoing in the US with the Food and Drug Administration, Fawn Bu will present the work that she has been leading in conjunction with the team that's been supporting the FDA CBER BEST initiative, centered on performance of vaccine safety surveillance methods. And Fawn specifically will show some of the innovations that she and Mark and the team have been driving towards having a Bayesian framework that can help us provide more credible evidence for vaccine safety surveillance in a way that isn't as restrictive as the traditional methods that have been used in some years. And so really excited to have Fawn share that, and thank our FDA colleagues for supporting this work, and they'll introduce it during the session. We also have an exciting collaboration in our community that's being led by Sen-Chan Yu to support the Korean Ministry of Food and Drug Safety. This is work that Chan is leading to look at replicating clinical trials in electronic health record data in Korea. And so some of you are aware of some of the work that's happened elsewhere in the world, specifically asking the question, to what extent can observational data produce the same effect estimates as randomized clinical trials? And there's been some nice work that's been conducted in some of the US claims data sources to look at this question. But Chan's been specifically working with partners in our OHDSI Korea network to examine some of these questions. And so our colleagues at the Korean Ministry for Food and Drug Safety and Chan will be presenting the work that's highlighted here. And then last, but certainly not least, we're excited to represent the strong work that's going on in the OHDSI community to support our colleagues at the European Medicines Agency. A large effort in the EMA is the Darwin EU initiative that several of you have heard about in our community calls. Peter Reinbeck will be presenting on behalf of the Erasmus MC Central Coordinating Center for the Darwin EU effort to share the latest work that's being done, and hopefully they'll be introduced by our colleagues at the EMA. The main point of these sessions is to really highlight the questions that are being raised by our regulatory authorities and the opportunities that we as a community have to kind of meet that need, whether it be through evolving our data standards, conducting methodologic research to establish best practices, developing open source software that can actually be used by our regulatory agencies, or actually applying these tools and practices to generate reliable evidence. So we're really excited to have Fawn, Chan, and Peter lead this session for us. Actually, let me just take a breath because I see Peter's on the line. Peter, anything you'd like to share to tease up this session?
No, I'm just very exciting to talk to you all about this face-to-face. I think we've presented earlier online, but it's going to be very exciting, and I look for a lot of feedback also outside of the meeting, so don't hesitate to reach out to me and have a discussion about this topic. I'm very excited to be there.
Very good. And Fawn, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, thank you for working through the schedule, Patrick. I'm very excited to present some of our recent results in collaboration with the FDA CBER Center, and hopefully we can get a very nice session going on, and very excited to meet everyone.
Very good. So after this session, there will be the FDA will be hosting a table at the symposium to meet and network with folks, and we'll have an opportunity for Fawn and Peter and Chan to also connect with our FDA colleagues and answer questions that folks have to engage meaningfully in that. From there, we are going to transition into our Collaborator Showcase, and deliberately you can see that we're trying to make it so that those of you who've been stuck on Zoom for the last few years will actually have ample opportunities to get up and stretch your legs. So after we hear these presentations where we're all sitting down together, you'll all be able to get up and wander around. We'll have round one of our Collaborator Showcase, where there will be poster presentations and poster walks that will be led by members of our community to go through various contents, as well as software demonstrations that will be highlighted, as well as our exhibitors that will be out in the foyer that you can go chat with them. During this hour, we will have half of the posters. So the posters will be organized in odds and evens, and we'll have half of the poster presenters asked to hang out by their posters so that they can talk about their content, as well as half of the software demonstrations will be going on. So there's, think about eight or nine of them that'll be going on during this hour that you can check out and learn from. Once that first hour of the Collaborator Showcase is over, we will go into our lightning talks. Kristen Koska will moderate our session of Collaborator Showcase lightning talks. We've got seven great presentations, eight great presentations that have been identified and were selected by our scientific review committee as worthy of having up on the stage to present in 7-minute presentations. And they really do cover a really nice breadth of activities that go on in our community, both in terms of covering topics from data standards, methods research, open source development, and clinical applications, but also representing the diversity of our community with presentations coming from North America, Europe, and Asia, from all different organizations around our community, which is really exciting. So these lightning talks will be held live, so you don't get the opportunity to work with Craig in past years to get as many takes as you want to get your perfect 7-minute presentation. Instead, Azza, I see you stressed in already. You get 7 minutes, and then Kristen is yanking you off the stage at the 7-minute mark to move on to the next presentation. So it'll be nice to go back to a live pressure-packed situation where you get one take at your presentation. But it'll be really nice to see these works highlighted. After the lightning talks, we'll have another hour dedicated to our Collaborator Showcase. Here, the odd posters will now be asked to stand at their posters and present, and the second half of the software demonstrations will be ongoing, and it'll be a great chance for you all to engage with the community and learn about the great work that's going on. This year, we had over 100 poster presentations accepted, and about, I think it was 18 software demonstrations. And so it'll be really nice to be able to showcase all of this work and have ample opportunity during these 3 hours to showcase all of that work and give you a chance to network with each other. From there, the 5 to 6 o'clock, for those of you who are boring and only can work from 8 to 5 and don't want to hang out for the fun, you can leave. But I'd encourage you all to stay because I'll be doing a closing talk. My draft title here is Building a Healthier World Together. You'll figure out what I mean by that when it happens. But probably the two things that'll be hopefully entice some of you. We've had a great batch of Titan nominees this year. And during my closing talk, I will get the distinct honor to announce this year's winners of our OHDSI Titan Awards, which I'm excited about. And we're also going to make sure that we get a group photo because we're really incredibly jealous of Peter, who has all of these great photos from all the OHDSI Europe meetings, and we never seem to get a good one in the OHDSI US meetings. So we'll keep stealing Peter's beautiful pictures. This one from the SS Rotterdam just earlier this year, and hopefully we'll have one that represents our conference together. So during my closing talk, I can promise you it'll be unlike any closing talk you have ever attended. And many of you have seen closing talks that I've done before and wondered what the hell is he doing? And I can promise that this one's even crazier than those. So I encourage you to stick around for the afternoon for that. And we have blocked networking time so that afterwards we will have a reception. You'll have a chance to hang around and wonder what the heck did Patrick just do and why. But also we've actually created some fun activities to try to facilitate the networking that will be around and available during this time. So that is our main conference. I'm super excited about this. Before I go on to the weekend, let me stop and I saw a couple questions that came through on the chat, so I'll just address a couple items right away. There's questions about whether or not this event is virtual. So no, the event is fully in person. We are recording all of the presentations, so you can see like every other hour there's a session that is, includes some sort of lecture content. So all of those sessions, the state of the community, the plenary session, the presentations on regulatory authorities, the lightning talks, these will all be recorded and we will be posting them shortly thereafter the event. And actually, as a steering committee, we met last week and we thought that it would be interesting that we may be able to host a viewing party for those who couldn't make it and to actually have an opportunity to have more engagement via chat virtually for those who couldn't make it. So after the symposium, we're going to try to figure out some way to virtually make a opportunity to participate. But for October 14th, if you're not there, you won't be in the room where it happens. And for those Hamilton fans, you should know that that's a sad thing to be in state of. So encourage you all who are on the fence about, is it worth coming all the way down to Bethesda? The answer is definitely yes, and you should try to be there. But for those who don't have the opportunity to come, then you will have the opportunity to take advantage of the lecture material right afterwards, as well as Craig mentioned, we'll continue this idea of the social showcase to highlight all of the great work of the during the Collaborator Showcase throughout the time. I'll also highlight, won't give it away too much, but we do have OHDSI KN95 masks. which will be made available for everybody who attends. For those who are uncomfortable with the social circumstance and risk of getting COVID, of which I should note that Craig and I are both actively positive right now. Rumors are that I got COVID just so that I would be immune for next month's symposium. I can neither confirm nor deny that claim, but I'm happy that I will not miss it. Main conference, I think I went through it, but Craig, I'm sure I missed something. So maybe if you could fill in the gaps, and we can also just open it up to see if anybody has any questions or comments about the main day.
I think you went through everything pretty well. I will note a little, page 5 of this agenda does specifically highlight the software demos
Yeah, thank
that
you.
will be as part of the Collaborator Showcase. We will update this agenda, I think, fairly soon with the names of the posters as well. And once we do that, we'll make sure to get this to you. But if you want to know the software demos right now, certainly check this out. But it would be great to check out the agenda before the symposium. We'll have ways to get the agenda at the symposium as well. It may be virtual, but if you can, check out the posters so you have a better idea, and we'll highlight it which session the posters will be in, and same with the software demos. So the agenda will be updated to make sure you have all of the information that you need for the 2 sessions of the Collaborator Showcase.
All right, thanks, Craig. And I say another comment about the registration for the Meet the Mentors. Yeah, so I don't know, Elise, if that has actually gone out quite yet, but shortly there will be announcement for those that are participating in the early stage researcher that'll come out from Ross and Faiza and Elise to coordinate for those that are interested in participating in that. Faiza's handling it. Thanks, Elise. Yep. So be on the lookout there for all of you that are early stage researchers and looking to engage there.
I think you're getting scroll down a little bit on the software demos
I'm
so
sorry.
we can see.
Yeah,
That's
there
all
we
right.
go. Sorry.
A few more.
Yeah, the software demos I'm really excited about. We received a bunch of exciting submissions this year of some tools, including things that have been kind of on the periphery of our community, where folks are trying to bring it into how we can actually apply it more directly in some of our core OHDSI tools. So really excited for some of the developments that are going on. Not everything is yet at the point of being promoted by Martijn and Mark into the 80s suite, but I think it's what we learn each year is that we have great developments that are going on that provide real promise for future areas of focus. And I think a lot of the things that we're seeing that have been contributed by the community are going to stimulate a lot of interest and excitement for how to drive these forward into more widespread adoption in our community.
I just put the direct link to the agenda in the chat, so if anybody wants to scroll through this on their own, it's right there.
Very good. Okay, so with that, we'll have a very fun time on Friday, and I hope that you'll all stay for the full time. And part of the reason that it kind of goes a little bit late is because we know lots of you will be hanging around for the weekend, and really looking forward to having a good evening and weekend time to be able to hang out with y'all. For those who are interested in the tutorial, this will be held Saturday, October 15th. And this is a brand new tutorial we've not done before in the OHDSI community. It's called An Introductory Journey from Data to Evidence. And the target we have for this tutorial this year is to provide one course where somebody who can come and will basically get a little bit of taste of everything that goes on in our OHDSI community. And specifically, I'll zoom out so I can show the whole agenda here. Specifically, that journey is basically going to involve learning a little bit about the OMOP Common Data Model and vocabulary, learning how to ETL a source database, rolling right into how to create cohort definitions, how to conduct phenotype evaluation, how to characterize cohorts in a given analysis, how to perform population level estimation studies, and how to conduct patient level prediction studies. The tutorials or this tutorial, the way that it's going to run, with special thanks to MUI and our colleagues at IQVIA. IQVIA has shared a sample of data from the IQVIA Pharmetrics Plus dataset, which is a real observational database that we can perform like real analyses on. And so those that participate in the session are going to actually get the opportunity of learning how one would ETL that Pharmetrics data led by Claire and Melanie, learning how to create cohorts for exposures and outcomes led by Asya, and evaluate them led by Asya and Gautam. And then we'll learn how to actually conduct analyses using tools like Atlas that Kristen will walk through with characterization, as well as some of our Hades packages like cohort method and patient level prediction led by Martine and Jenna. And so folks will actually get a little bit of taste of the conceptual concepts of the best practices that we try to offer in the community, as well as hands-on experience of interacting with the tools and data to generate evidence, which will be great fun. The tutorial, I think Elise said there's about 9 seats that are still available. I think there's about 140 that are already signed up. And we will be recording the tutorial for those who miss it or aren't able to sign up. But for those who are really keen, if you're thinking it sounds cool, definitely recommend that you jump on and sign up, because we're about to close the registration for this. So that's our tutorial. Actually, let me just stop there. I know I've got many members of our faculty on here. Anybody want to share anything? I see Claire, you're in the middle of my Family Feud or my box here. You want to say anything about your session?
Yeah, so in the tutorial, we're going to be switching it up a little bit. So if you've been to a CDM or ETL tutorial before, we're actually going to be doing it a little bit differently this year. We're trying to make it a little bit more engaging, a little easier to follow, and hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense. So Melanie and I are going to be working together, and we're really excited about it.
Very good. Thanks, Claire. And thank you for participating as faculty on this. All right, so that's the tutorial. And then I'm really excited about this. Is something new that we're doing this year, which is, a key theme throughout the OHDSI community this year has been to empower our work groups and our work group leads to lead their own activities that are going to be meaningful for our community. And so this weekend, we have 2 days of work group activities that are being driven by our work group leads. The schedule of events, let's see, I'll make it a little bit bigger so I can show it. On Saturday, concurrent with the tutorial, there will be the first part of a Hades hackathon that'll take place both in the morning on Saturday, October 15th, as well as in the afternoon of Sunday, October 16th. There will be a session dedicated to methods research, both for population level estimation and patient level prediction. There will be a work group activity specifically for our oncology work group, as well as a work group activity for our natural language processing work group. We'll hold a session for our education work group, as well as a session for our health equity work group on Sunday the 16th. And then there's an entire track on Saturday, October 15th, that's focused on our interactions and engagement between the OHDSI community and the HL7 FHIR community, with activities centered on FHIR OMOP around terminologies, data model harmonization in the oncology subgroup. Jamie Weaver is also with Gautam and Aza is also leading a phenotype evaluation work group activity in the afternoon of Sunday, October 16th. And I missed that there's also of course, Claire is leading a CDM and data quality work group activity the afternoon of Sunday the 16th as well. There is also one big block that's scheduled for the 4 hours on Sunday, October 16th in the morning. And this is an all hands work group meeting that I guess nominally I'll be driving. But the real point of this is for us to have dedicated time so that anybody who's there throughout the weekend is able to participate, network, connect with folks to get some greater exposure to what's going on across the work groups and to try to forge those collaborations that are going to drive us forward well beyond the symposium. And so we've got a dedicated time to bring us all together in one big group session. So for those who are coming to the main conference and, thinking like you've made some connections, but you won't necessarily have the time to drill down into specific content. This all hands work group meeting is going to be a real opportunity for us to get down into real details and collaborate together. So really excited to have these 2 days basically full with many different opportunities for work group members who are already active participants to really, roll up your sleeves and work with your colleagues that you've been working with virtually for all these years. But also for those of you who are newcomers to the community or haven't yet gotten engaged or haven't found the place to get involved, this will be a really, really great opportunity for you to drop into one of these activities and work through it. I know we have many of the work group leads on the call, so I want to open it up to them. And I don't know, Greg, you maybe have captured the list of those that are here, but I guess I see a few faces, so maybe I'll call on folks to highlight what you guys are doing. And Weaves, you're my top left on my screen. So would you mind sharing what you and Gautam and Azza have planned for the phenotype evaluation work group?
Sure. We are going to extend on the terrific work that was done in Phenotype February that Azza will have already spoken to the entire symposium about during her lightning talk earlier. And what we're going to do is build on that in terms of we're going to present and formalize the process that we can use OHDSI tools to do large-scale phenotype validation. And our intent is not to try to replace the existing methods for validation that have been around for eons, but instead rather present an approach that we can do this at scale so that we could use validated phenotypes that have been validated internally for estimation studies. We've got a example phenotype selected. We're going to evaluate as a group acute pancreatitis, and we're in the process now of creating some candidate phenotype definitions for this and creating a study package that we're going to share in the near future with participants, with data holding participants that are part of the workshop. But just to be clear, you don't have to be a data holder to attend. There will be lots to learn and lots of ways to participate, even if you don't have yourself access to a CDM in advance to run this study package. So we've been working hard, and we're hoping to communicate some really fun science, and looking forward to having a good time with you all. Azza, Gautam, you got anything that you would like to add before we move on?
No, other than if you guys want to be involved in the planning of this work session, please come to our phenotype development work group. That's where we'll talk about it.
Some of the fun is that we're going to evaluate phenotypes that have been part of a acute pancreatitis validation methods systematic review, but those are both 10 years old. So we're going to be evaluating those old phenotypes plus some new versions of it as well to see how the probabilistic reference standard validation method that y'all know as phi-valuator performs compared to the traditional methods that are out in the literature. So it'll be nice to have that benchmark to see how these novel methods compare against them. It's going to be fun.
Very good. So if you want to join Weaves and Gautam and Azza in the phenotype evaluation work group activity, you're just going to go register and just say that you want to be there so we can allocate the appropriate space to that.
He's not here to raise his hand, but Joel Swerdell is a strong contributing member of this effort as one of the leaders in the phi-valuator method for doing large scale measurement error generation. Let's not forget him.
Yes, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Claire, you want to promote the CDM and data quality work group activity you'll be leading?
Yeah, so again, Melanie and I are going to be working together, and I think I just recruited Erica to help me too, so we'd be excited to have all three of us. But what we're going to be doing is we're actually trying to take advantage of our time together. So we've got the CDM working group, we've got the data quality working group, the vocabulary working group, and the newly revived Themis working group. And what we're going to try to do is take a look at some of those long-standing questions about data standards that the community has held. I think a really good one is like, what do we do with smoking status? How do we record history of findings? So if you have a history of cancer, for example, And we've kind of gone back and forth about these on the forums, but we don't really have any good concrete answers for folks. A lot of times we just say, ask a question, and then you refer to maybe 2 or 3 past forum posts from many years ago. So what we're going to try to do is get together as a group and come up with some answers to these questions. We're going to document the answers to those questions, define if we need any vocabulary to support those answers, and then decide if there's any data quality checks we need to do to then check if those standards are being adhered to. So it's a big undertaking, but we're really excited since we're going to have so many people in the room. And we really see this as a nice jumping off point for the revival of the Themis working group. So there's going to be a lot to do in that short amount of time. But we are really excited, and I think we already have quite a good group set up to get working on it.
Awesome. Thank you, Claire. So if you're interested in CDM, data quality, ETL conventions, make sure that you sign up and join that fun team. Mark, can I put you on the spot? Because I know you were on the Hades call. We talked about the fun activities we've got in store for that. You wanted to share what we were thinking about there?
You can absolutely put me on the spot, because at this moment, I don't have a good idea. I was on an airplane to go visit Patrick coming home. No, I was on an airplane coming home from Patrick's at that moment. However, I can say it's going to be awesome. It will be the best, and everyone is invited to participate. It'd be a great opportunity to learn about the Hades tool stack, get yourself engaged in development in the OHDSI community, which pays back in spades. You have tools that work for you, tools that work for the whole community. So please come and join us, whatever we're doing.
So I think I apologize, Mark. I thought you were on yesterday. So the Hades group has brainstormed basically identifying a set of open issues associated with Hades packages that we will be digging into, trying to actually implement together. So particularly for those that are either part of our open source community and looking for the opportunity to contribute, or just folks that haven't yet really gotten engaged and been maybe a little bit intimidated about what it takes to make a contribution to the code stack. There'll be a series of issues, many of which are lightweight lifts that we think we can do in just a short matter of a couple hours. But we want to basically try to push through a collection of issues, open issues, and try to create pull requests that address those issues and solve those problems. And so it'll be a great opportunity for anybody who's, whether you're doing back-end development on our packages, front-end development of shiny apps, or thinking about how our network connections, network studies can be conducted more efficiently. There's a good opportunity for you to jump in on those activities.
Thank you, Patrick. That does sound awesome.
But regardless, you just want to hang out with Mark because he's a cool dude. So that's really the primary motivation there. All right. Anybody from our oncology work group that's on the call that'd like to share what you guys have cooking up for us?
Yeah, if Ajay is not on, I'll take this.
Yeah, go ahead, Thomas.
Let me share my camera. So we'll just be giving sort of context to the motivation of the work, the ingestion of the registry, the cancer registries that we all have access to, or a few institutions have access to, the importance of bringing in those very important cancer confounders like staging, the histological stuff, grading, metastases information that we can account for and stratify in the estimation work. Also, we'll be talking about the motivation for the episode table that's new in the CDM 5.4. Excuse me. So there you can have sort of a one-stop shopping of, at least in the context of cancer, these the trajectories of these patients as they go through their treatments. So you don't have to sort of roll up all the radiotherapy records. It'll all be sort of aggregated in an accurate way, excuse me, in the episode table. And obviously just going through the history of the work, and we're rounding third base, and we're making a lot of progress these days. So we're always looking for people to join our effort.
So thank you, Thomas. Yeah, so I think that for the oncology work group, if you've been a member for a long time, all this progress has been made is going to be a good opportunity. But also, I think it's being set up in a way that if you're new to the space and want to learn what's been going on, you know, it'll have a flavor of a tutorial to get people up to speed as well. So encourage newcomers to come join our large and expanding oncology work group. And all you have to do is just go sign up. I think right now we've got a nice room set up for that one, but if more sign up, that would be helpful. How about any of the other work group activities? I've got a restricted number of faces to see, but does anybody want to talk about any of the other work group activities that are going on?
Patrick, there is another page that highlights, I'm just going to take over sharing from you.
Yeah, please go ahead.
We do have this work group activities schedule and registration page that you all have access to. It's on that, and it does have actually specific information about each work group activity. So please do check it out. The work group leads were able to share some information. We actually have some more detailed information that we just loaded to our website. So if you go to the OHDSI, the drop down to this work group activities schedule, which is this page, if you go across, okay, there are some more specific highlights of the agenda for some of the work group activities. So this was just added, I think, over the past couple of days. So it's CDM and data quality, fire and OMOP data model harmonization, fire and OMOP oncology, health equity agenda, NLP, oncology, and phenotype development and evaluation. So for more information on any of these work group activities, just the page itself has at least tidbits on everything. And then there's some really more detailed aspects that you can find in the dropdown. If your agenda is not there and you want to add it to this area, please send it to Elise or send it to me. We'll get it up there. And then just because it's been in the chat, we haven't talked a lot about the FAQ, frequently asked questions, but Elise did a great job with this page. It has a lot of travel information. We just had something in the chat about airports in the Bethesda area, so hotels, everything that you might need to know. So again, that page is under this dropdown, OHDSI 2022 FAQ. So there's a lot of information on the website. I know I keep telling you about it, and I think, you know, sometimes after a while you miss it, but check it all out, please, over the next few weeks. And as Patrick said, you need to register. You need to register for the conference. Registering for Friday's conference does not get you into the tutorial. Registering for the tutorial does not get you into the conference. They're going to be capped numbers for everything based on like hotel room size, things like that. So, you know, you don't necessarily want to wait till October 13th and hope. So register kind of as soon as you can, and then get the word out to others to make sure that they register as well. Any other questions for Patrick or Elise? We should credit Elise, who's just done an incredible amount of work getting us ready for the symposium. I know it's glorious for her that we have moved away from virtual symposiums, although she did an amazing job for that as well. But she's doing a great job. So any other questions?
I feel like people aren't excited enough.
Erica has a question.
I have a dumb question that I should know the answer to. Do we have to sign up for the all hands working group meeting? Is that like one you sign up for?
I think it's at least, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's a checkbox when you do the work group activities to see that you can sign up for that. So when you go to sign up for work group activities, you're basically say which of the work group activities do you want to go to, and that's an option there.
Yeah, you'll see that for Sunday. It'll say, will you attend? I am unsure if I'm attending, or yes, I will attend.
Okay.
Scott, I'm counting on you for the excitement factor. So.
And we've got a good many people in this, so register. We'll get there. We'll be at capacity shortly.
Aza.
I think I'm gonna confuse everybody. I did do the work group, but I didn't do all the ticks. So I'm gonna do it again and have all the ticks for everything. That doesn't ruin anything, right?
No, no, you're
That's
good.
fine, no.
Yeah, so just to be very clear with the work group activities, we need you all to sign up. Not like it doesn't cost any money, but we're just trying to make sure that we know how many people to put in which rooms. And it's purely a logistical thing, which is we got a big room and 2 smaller rooms that hold different amounts of people, and we just need to know which activity to put in which room. So it really, really helps us for you to sign up so that we can make sure that it's a comfortable environment for everybody. For the main conference and the registration, we really need you, for the tutorial, we really need you to register because that actually, we expect to be at capacity and will be capped. And so it's important that you're on the list so that we can accommodate you.
Patrick, do you need faculty to register as well? Asking for my coworker who's a faculty.
The faculty are already listed for the tutorial. You're all, that's all good.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. So I
But
think
yes, tell them to register.
yeah, if when in doubt, register.
Yes.
Okay, so everybody knows everything now about the symposium. Of course, there will be more questions, so please reach out to Elise or to me or to Patrick at any point if you have any questions along the way. This will be recorded, so we'll make sure you have access to this. Pass it along. Like I said, we want to get the word out to as many people about the symposium. It really is going to be a great event. It's going to be wonderful to be back in person. I'm looking forward to seeing so many people for the first time in years.